Hey, welcome back to Milton Daily Homes. Chuck here. We get a list of, what are we at, like 30-something properties today. And so the big wrap-up before the weekend. Now, we're doing tours of homes this weekend, Saturday, Sunday, and I think Monday as well. I can check with that. But it's a great chance to learn more about the neighborhoods, the price ranges, the kinds of homes that are available. Not really the primary intention to find the perfect home, but it's more like, let's get the gathering of research. The biggest problem I find now with today's home buyers, they're spending too much time online and not enough time out in the real world, because you gain so much more understanding about the market when you actually see this stuff in person. You learn the layouts that you like and dislike. You learn what's a good deal and what's not. If one sold for a good price and one didn't, the pictures don't tell the whole story. And we've seen that where some of the best listings that I know about sometimes don't have the best pictures, and the opposite's true, where they can almost, with good photography, make a bad house look actually really nice. So that's the kind of stuff you get by getting in person. Typically, we're seeing 3 to 5 homes on a tour. We give you a lot of background information about the town. We talk about different neighborhoods and the pros and cons. And past experience, people really walk away with a lot. So it's just over there if you want to sign up. Or you can go to miltontourofhomes.com, and that's just kind of a different website that basically does the same thing. So let's get into today's list. We've got this one on in the Green Life building for $309. Maintenance fees are $78 a month. That's insane. That's really good. And we've talked about this building before. They've talked about R45, R60. I don't think the average home buyer can really put that in perspective, but it is built extremely well. Solar panels on the roof, geothermal heat. You are facing Main Street. You're nice and close to even things like the farmers market. There's lots of restaurants nearby. And I'm a big fan of this building. I've talked about it many times in these episodes. This one on Bristol on Main is 319. It looks like a Windsor model, and it's actually got a lot of designer touch. When I saw that, I thought it was carpet, but then as I saw more of the pictures, it's kind of like a grayish. It's a really stylish, trendy home. The backsplash is done well, a vertical backsplash here. It's a good looking place, and you're on the first floor. So the fact that, like, if you want a little bit of space to kind of have some green, so I think about this place as being a really good spot for even somebody like an elderly person who is moving from a house and they still maybe want a place where they can have some plants outside, have a little bit of garden and green space, which you don't always get on the second and third floor. I'm a big fan of that one. I actually think the price isn't too bad at all. Davis Lane is $389, and so it's what we affectionately call the front back house, meaning it's basically one entrance is off Davis, the other entrance is off of Main Street, and $389 for the townhouse. There's a lot of space in here. There's your front yard, so it's like, I don't know, there's no real backyard here. I always have a tough time with these. What I like about them is how close they are to everything. Right at that Main and Thompson main intersections where the Center for the Arts is, the Leisure Center, all kinds of shopping, go to Starbucks. It's a great spot to be. GO Train is even within walking distance. So Pettigrew is $419, and this one, it's kind of hard to position and map. There's only a few photos here, and they're sort of at weird angles, and it is a finished basement on a semi-detached home, and it's on the quieter side of Pettigrew. Usually the 300s is the one facing Thompson, and not many of these are much smaller than probably 1,1300 square feet. This is the one that only has one full bathroom upstairs, so it's not a huge house. Could kind of go either way. It would really depend on how it shows in person. We've got Bustle Crescent at $424.9. It seems like there's a few of these models for sale right now. What looks very interesting is you've almost got like the over molding lighting on this one. In person, that could look good or not. It's hard to tell. I actually like the floor plan of this one. The only thing is that you're walking through the middle, so you almost have to kind of split your other room in half. There's a builder finished basement here. And usually you can tell the builder finished basements because of the popcorn ceilings, train tracks right behind. And we talked about that, I think, earlier this week or last week, where I've always thought of that as a bit of a downside, but we have clients right now that believe that not having any neighbors behind is actually superior. So something like this in their books would be a better option than actually having just a regular home. So train tracks, I suppose, could be a benefit, which is kind of interesting. I've never really thought about it that way. Sugden is $439, and we're basically an Iris model. It's a pretty popular model, and they're, to be honest, I was surprised at how well, these are generally well-built homes. North Star is the builder, and then you've got your builder finished basement there. Now, I think this is kind of confusing because I looked at that vent and I said, what is this? Is it concrete? Is it carpet? It's the breezeway between the garage and the actual backyard. So you have the two doors here. And what's interesting is that most people don't know this, but Mattamy does not put a door in their townhouses. They actually create a right-of-way in the backyard so that if you have a row of 6 townhouses, that the middle units 3 and 4 actually have access through the neighbors' backyards, and there's an actual legal registered easement through those properties. Freehold house, not condo, but you still have access and permission. When the builders build like this, they don't need to worry about that kind of stuff. McNair Circle is $439. So we've got a Lake Point model with quote-unquote high-resolution photos. And anyway, it's got a finished basement. It's hard to tell much about this. We just saw one without a finished basement sell up in the 430s. So let's see what happens. McNair is a good street, nice and close to the Hawthorne Village Public School. Quiet, good place to live. So this one on Hampshire Way, I kind of swallowed my tongue a bit when I saw it. It is one of the larger townhouses in this complex, but really 11, 12, 1,300 square feet is selling for $350, $370, and they talk about custom cabinets and all the rest of it. That's a lot of money to be asking for this area. $460 is, in my eyes, anything over $400 would be very surprising to me. Anyway, let's see what happens. Swindale is $459. I think this one's great. 1763 square feet, end unit townhouse, and a very, very nice looking place. And I don't think they'll have any issues. When you get above 450 with towns, it can be a little hit or miss, but we've seen 440 and 450. Some of the townhouses at 1,600 square feet have crept up, and I think with the finishes here, probably in a good place. And you might even have a bit of an extended backyard. It looks like the side yard is a little bit bigger. Harris Bay here on McGurn Gate, so you've got a detached 3-story home with a garage, but you don't really have a backyard. I suppose that's the only green space that the kids can really run around with. It looks okay inside. I sold one last year, probably a little bit more upgraded than this in the 440, 450 range. So 471 doesn't seem that far off, but I think you have options at 470. Even this one on Newell at 489. You have the siding on the outside. There are ways to make that look better, but you're looking at a home here that's about 1,800 square feet, hardwood floors. I don't know, you're not getting your double garage here. It's just a single car garage. However, fully detached with a backyard and a finished basement. So that's a good deal if you can live with how the outside looks. This one on Featherstone was $499. I've seen it before. The kitchen's not open concept with the rest of the home, but it has this big sort of expansive, it's a large eating sort of like hangout area. There's a fireplace in the corner. There's a finished basement here. You get a fireplace upstairs. There's quite a lot you get with this home that you just don't see every day. I mean, the laundry, having the extra cabinet space. They've definitely spent some money here. I found the floors were a little bit creaky when I was going through a couple of years ago when it was for sale last time. But I think it's going to attract a lot of attention. And having that 4 bedrooms under 500, it's looking pretty good to me. So Marley Crescent's 507. One of my favorite picks of the day. I've seen regularly this home without a finished basement sell for more than this price, and it's done really well. So the one yesterday I thought was a good deal, and it's even smaller than this home by about 100 square feet. Really, and it looks like it's kept well too. I can't praise this one enough. I think this one could easily sell for $520, and I think anything under $520 to me looks like a killer deal. So jump on this one really fast because it is priced to sell, no doubt about it. Churchill's at $509. Nice quiet street in Dorset Park. Big property here. Renovated kitchen, although those cabinets are a little bit more sort of traditional style versus the modern style. And most of the buyers in Dorset Park right now are younger buyers, younger families that want that yard. They're probably in a townhouse right now in the new area as their first home, and then they go, hey, look, I need a little bit more land, I need detached. So this one fits the profile nicely of a move-up house. The pool is a bit of a bonus. And you just want to make sure you've got enough yard space here for the kids to run around. Yeah, there's sort of a weird build. I'm not sure what this building is, if it's just for the pool equipment, the pump, and so on. Anyway, looks like a nice place. Not a lot of pools that have listed this year, so maybe we're waiting for that next wave, but I think that'll hit really well. So here's the one on Capra Hill, 512.7, and it's the same model as 507, and this one doesn't even have a finished basement. So this is more in line with what I'd expect the pricing to be, and that just shows how good of a deal the other one is. So no question that the other one's a better deal at 507. This one on Hepburn is 524. It's a Newport model. It's actually a nice floor plan. Good price point for a double car garage, and it's just a question of, it almost looks, like it's kind of vacated and kind of a Berber carpet upstairs. If it's in good shape, they should get the 525. Aired for the same price as a double car garage. It's a lot bigger. Okay, so it's more than 2,200 square feet. Still a semi-detached though. Quite nice. The finished basement helps. I don't think they're that far off. I like... Generally, we talk about dark hardwood because that's just more of a trend of what people like. But this house is an example of lighter floors done well. And you see the way that the wall colors and the white and everything complements in this house. I really like this home. I think it's set up very well. Just the right amount of designer touches without going overboard. And then there's your finished basement there. So they could get it. That model has gone up, I think up in the 520s before, that's sold with a finished basement. Silver Court is just over 2,000 square feet, 4-bedroom. It's called a Sterling model, and they've dressed up the staircase here. Again, photos aren't probably the best quality. Like even that, like what is that? It's a bed. Like you can't see anything about that room. And Silver Court's a nice street. There's some larger homes on the street which can help with the impression. And no finished basement, probably not that far off compared to what else has been selling. Guelph line, and we talked about anything in the sort of 7,000, 8,000 on Guelph. You might get that stinky mushroom smell from the factory on Guelph line, but I don't live on Guelph line, so you really need to do your homework on that. It looks like it might be a double car garage, 559. I don't have anything else to go by. You're just around an acre on that one there. Tilt Place is 586, and yeah, more or less it looks like what you get for 586. It's an Arista built home, and I can't remember the square footage just off the top of my head. Pine Street was listed last year, and it's got a lot of space. It's got those nice unique features here, the transoms above the door, and you've got even like this little plate rail up top, built-in cabinets. And there's a lot of space here. This is a big house, and there's 4 bedrooms upstairs. The kitchen probably it's got like a little butler's pantry area right here. There is a main floor bathroom, and so that's a good thing. If you have older relatives, there could be a little main floor master bedroom here. Comes in very handy. So it's a very flexible space. It probably needs some work. This is the 3rd story up here. They've spray foamed everything. And there's a random toilet in the corner. That door actually goes out to, I'll show you where it is in one of the pictures. It's right there. There's the door off the 3rd story. You've got the stairs coming down. At some point, this may have been a duplex or a triplex home. There's a nice size 66 by 124 foot lot. it's probably closer to the Milton Mall than the real heart of like the downtown. So I would put the location at probably like a good solid 7 out of 10. But if you go further west, the points start adding up faster. It's just, so it's in a good spot on Pine, but ideally in west is kind of a little bit quieter. You start to see a little bit more character in the homes and so on. So River Place, we don't see a lot of homes on River Place. And this one's on a huge pie-shaped lot, 173 feet. Lots of space here. $629 seems like a fair price. There was one on, I think it was Ashbrook by the cemetery that sold in the higher fives, and that was last year. Kind of looks like similar condition to that. I would rip these off extremely fast if I were to ever buy this home, but it looks good. It looks like there's a good sized family home here for somebody, and if it's been kept well, then even better. So pride of ownership generally trumps cosmetic finishes from what I've seen. Robart 674.9, where I don't know the square footage on this one. It's between 2,500 and 3,000 square feet. I could see most people wanting to rip that countertop out at a minimum. You could refinish these cabinets. You could have them painted or restained. Depending on the material, you're about $100 a door for that. So this whole kitchen could transform for probably a lot less than what most people think. Some people go, oh, it's going to cost me 20 grand in the kitchen. Well, it could, or if you're smart, it could cost you half of that or less. A lot of the sort of honey-colored wood, not always the favorite choice for buyers. And then you back onto the pond there too. Great location here for Robarts, for Chris Hadfield School, and also the Catholic school there. You can get the Catholic high school at the end of the road, and all of those benefits of that Main and Thompson that I talked about, Leisure Center, Go Train, and so on. It's all right there. Milton Brook is $679, and again, 2,500 to 3,000 square feet. What you're not getting with this one is that pond behind, but you do have green space. So it's almost the same thing. It's a newer house. It's got a better curb appeal, and it's got probably more modern finishes. So if you don't need the water look, and maybe you don't want something as close, what's your walking distance here is the sports center and the hospital. So if you're a hockey player, you might go to one and then have to go to the other. But anyways, it's a nice area. Nice looking homes with that stucco finish. Leargate, they misquoted the square footage, but not by much, so I won't give them a hard time on that. You're at $699 for about 2,800 square feet. Quinlan, you're at $789. This is a fantastic place. So what you're getting compared to the previous one, a little bit bigger. You're also getting green space. You're also getting a finished basement, and you're getting a lot better finishes. So if that's worth $90,000 in comparison to you, I'd say, well, maybe you might want to go have a look at this one. You've got an upgraded range here. I love the look of this home. I think this is one of the best looking homes we've seen all year on Daily Homes, and I know that I tend to say that about once a month, but it really is in the top 10 that I think you're going to see anywhere. It's a beautiful, beautiful looking place, and when you look at the backyard too, you could just imagine the time spent with friends and family out on that back porch. You can see some of the trees are starting to grow in. The landscaping, every detail is really taken care of on something like this. And the fact that it has 5 bedrooms is just a little bit of a bonus there if you do have a larger family. Sales court is, I'm just trying to think of what model this is. It says 4,600 square feet of living space. This one's between 3,000 and 3,500. The model's not coming to me, but it probably will the minute I hit stop on the video. And then you've got a little bit of a, it looks like a bar there in the basement. I don't know. To me, Quinlan takes the cake in this price range. For the same price, I don't think it's any competition. Fifth line is $799. You're getting about 34 acres, and you always want to look at things like, cost to get this place serviced, building costs. You want to look at any conservation, any anything. There's almost layers of restrictions and rules with any vacant land. And the other thing that I tell people with vacant land is it can be hard to finance, and the bank usually wants a big downstroke because there's no income potential from vacant land. You can't rent it out. It's just kind of there and it's dead. So you need to have a little bit more I guess, bounce in your checking account. Now, I put the one on Martin Street again because it's now loaded on the second system, but have a look at this one here. I won't go through the photos because we did it yesterday, but I just like this home a lot, so I put it in there for you again. Carbert or Carber or whatever you want to call it is actually, let's go the first one. We'll do Carbert last. We've got this one on Stark, 1235 square feet, and it looks like they finished it well. The mismatched appliance is kind of weird. Like, I would say for the money it would cost to replace this, it would have been a good idea. Especially they've done the floors, they've painted it well. Even there's an upgraded door, it looks like, into the powder room, more of a wood finish door versus the cheapo builder ones. And anyway, it's a nice looking house. One of these sold for a lot less than I thought it would, backing onto green space, finished basement, all the rest of it. And we sold one with a finished basement for more than that. So it's looking at the previous sales, it could go either way. Carberts, I don't know how they fit a dining room into this space because it's not very big at all. That's why they have the bench here. Most people really struggle with what to do with that room. It's very, very tight. And nice looking finishes inside here. I think at $529 for a 1750 square foot home. When you look at what you can get in the episode when I showed you that corner one for $507, larger with a finished basement, it's a little bit older and it's on a wider lot too. It makes a lot more sense to me at $507 than this one at $529. So that's the list for today. I know it was a bit longer, but you know, people are listing homes. So we've got a couple great ones coming out next week, and I'll share all about that as we get closer to those dates. I'll give you a head start of at least 24 hours on the rest of the market. And if you want to come on that tour of homes, Milton tour of homes, or bounce over there, and we'd be glad to help you and meet you this weekend. Have a great long weekend. We'll see you later.